for two nations who meet tonight in Group A. Host nation Senegal, who prepared long and hard to win this tournament, against Kenya, the rank outsiders, who've also never won the African Nations Cup. Well, hello and welcome once again. We're back in Dakar inside the Friendship Stadium, along with 60,000 impassioned fans, all, of course, desperately hoping for a Senegalese win tonight. Group A looks like this as we go into the action. Nigeria with a 100% record. They've beaten both Kenya and Senegal by the identical score of 2-1. Will it be Kenya or will it be Senegal who go forward to the quarterfinals next week? Well, it's a tremendous match in prospect between these two nations at opposite sides of the continent. Senegal there on the western seaboard against Kenya, who may be big in East African footballing circles, but they're certainly amongst the weakest of the 12 nations here in 1992. Senegal will remember, however, how they were held 0-0 by tonight's opponents 2 years ago in Algeria. We've full match commentary coming up with Clive Tilsley and Don Howe. Let's go over and find out how the sides line up.
Well, the news of the Senegalese side, Phil, is that they've made two changes from the one beaten in the closing stages by Nigeria in the opening game on Sunday. Number 17, Mamadou Diallo, and number 12, Adama Cees are the newcomers. Diallo's a defender, Cees a midfield player. Kenya too have made two changes, and their newcomers are number 19, Sami Omolo, who we expect to play in midfield, and number 4, David Odiambo, who is a striker and who is likely to partner the strapping number 9, Okot, in the Kenyan attack. It's a night of reckoning for the 18th African Nations Cup. The tournament will lose much of its atmosphere and a slice of its income if it loses the home team at this stage. Senegal must beat Kenya in the red strip to ensure that that doesn't happen. Must win to be certain of a place in Sunday's second quarter-final here against the winners of Group B, who are likely to be Cameroon. Watching alongside me, Don Howe. And Don, always a lot of pressure on the host nation.
Yes, there is, and obviously the organisers want the host nation to go through for the local support. So they get good gates, and they get good gates virtually through to the final. The nicest thing about today's game is there's got to be a result. So obviously both teams have got to attack each other. Some of the games in the earlier parts of the tournament have been very slow and very safe football, holding possession at the back. This time both teams have got to go at each other and win the game.
Kenya, remember, in the all-red strip, Senegal, the host nation, in all white. And this is their number 15, Diagne. Threaded purposefully into the path of Hume, who's looking for Bakandi, the big centre-forward there with the dreadlocks, and he's a real threat in the air. Seen off this time by Ochola. Can't quite link up with Adolf Mendy. But a break now by Sene. And Busolo, the Kenyan goalkeeper, gratefully scoops it up. They started this group as rank outsiders, Kenya. Indeed, they have the most modest international record of any of the teams who've reached the finals. But their late penalty against the group winners Nigeria on Tuesday has given them a sporting chance of gate-crashing the party at Senegal's expense. Because both of these two teams lost 2-1 to Nigeria. A draw today would leave them with identical records, and lots would be drawn to decide which of them progresses into the quarterfinals. A sad state of affairs, but both know at kick-off that that is the state of affairs.
I think that the Senegal team have already showed their hand. It looks as though they're going to get down the flanks and get crosses in. They've started that early. One of the problems on crossing and the longer balls is this surface. I think it's the grass is very thick, and also I think underneath the grass it's bumpy. So it's not easy to play on.
Kenya coming forward, but conceding a free kick rather unkindly in my humble opinion, against number 14 Nwololo, using his body to try and see off his opponent in midfield. Sene forward, turned away by Owour. This is Diagne. Number 13, Hume looked a useful passer of the ball in the opening game. Looks good on the ball too, but he's well challenged there by Mwololo. And Kenya, if nothing else, are a very spirited side.
And I would think like a very fit side. I mean, we all know in athletic events, they're long distance. And obviously they are at altitude, so they ought to be able to, on the fitness side of it.
That's Hume's header. Yes, they are. Strapping lads, almost everyone you see seems to be in tremendous physical condition, every nation. That's a useful ball played into the path of Odhiambo and well dealt with by Cease challenging back. Appeals for a corner and I think Odhiambo has won it. A little bit of pace there. It's the first chance we've had to look at this Kenyan number 4, David Odhiambo.
They're looking, the Senegalese look as though they're playing a little bit flat at the back, and he made a run through the middle of them. I just caught my eye on the linesman, and he semi-lifted his flag and then put it down, and he was closing offside. But the lad definitely got through.
Problems then for Sek and the Senegalese defence. Corner taken by Lukoya. Turned on hopefully by Mwololo, but some strong defending by the striker Wakandi helping out inside of his own penalty area. This is Sene winning the throw-in. The margins are so fine in a three-team qualifying group. Kenya's penalty came just 3 minutes from the end of Tuesday's game. Without it, a draw would have been sufficient for Senegal tonight. Last Sunday, there were just 2 minutes remaining when Nigeria got their winner against Senegal, and without that, a draw would have been sufficient for Senegal tonight. But as it is, they just daren't take the gamble on a draw, because a gamble it would be in every sense. A drawn match, and it goes to lots to decide who joins Nigeria from this group in the quarterfinals. We've had 6 minutes. Senegal in white 0, Kenya in red 0.
Well, I think we've seen the approach, Clive. I think the ball is going to go forward, and there's no holding possession at the back now. I mean, they're going to play the occasional square pass across the back, but I think when they get the chance, both teams are going to play the ball forward.
Well, a rather strange piece of goalkeeping by Busolo, which was effective up to a point, with Sane and Bokande bearing down on him. Yuma's won a throw-in, which Diagne will take. This is Yume. Sharp challenge by the left-back Sunguti. Well, you never quite know what to expect from African goalkeepers. We think we've seen it all from Bruce Grobbelaar in this country, but there are still 1 or 2 variations on the art, and a good headed clearance that time by the Kenyan number 1, Busolo.
Well, there you are, you see. I mean, he's done well. He's read the through ball. He's in between two the Senegalese forwards, and I think he realised he's on the edge of the box, and if he handled it, he'd give a foul away right on the edge of the box. So he had the sense to head the ball. The only thing, it wasn't a good header.
Pacey attack again, and maybe the pitch as much as anything defeated Sene when he got into that useful position. Anybody who's anybody in Senegal is here tonight. Foul on Luanga. Guilty man is number 15 there, Diagne. In fact, I think it was Bokande who caught him.
Yeah, it was the forward retreating who caught the back of his leg.
This time the free kick's gone Senegal's way. There is an awful lot of pressure on the referee from Congo tonight. They haven't been naming the officials until now before kick-off to defeat any attempts at persuading them with financial reward as to which way the match might go. but it's important not only to the host nation, but if anything, really to the tournament that Senegal make progress. This is number 13 getting forward, Diagne. Cleared, though, by Luanga.
Well, I'll tell you what, Clyde, they're getting their footing on the tackles. They're not, both teams are not hanging back. It's their turn to put their foot in and try and win the ball back. They're both doing it.
War finding Lukoya. This is Mwololo. Plays for the splendidly named Kenya Breweries team. I don't think there'll be any shortage of volunteers from the players to attend the sponsors' functions. 9 minutes gone. Senegal in white 0, Kenya 0. War has been penalised. His foot was a little bit high then.
Yes, they won't let them show their studs. You know, as soon as the foot comes up and the studs are showing on the continent and obviously in Africa, they give fouls.
Sané finding Adolphe Mendy. It was a useful cross, didn't quite reach Bokande. Swung in from the left-hand side, and he is a good cross of the ball there, the number 3. Bokande is a very good header of the ball if they can reach him. Both sides have central strikers with some reputation of being good in the air. Michael Coates, the big number 9 in red for Kenya, and Jules Bokande, the number 10 in white for Senegal. This is War, who's responsible for marking the Nigerian Yekini, who scored twice against him in the opening 15 minutes of the game here on Tuesday. So he had a very stern introduction to the tournament. 5 is Roger Mendy, who plays with Monaco in France. Several of these Senegalese players have experience of top-flight football on the European mainland. And again, a pacey burst by Adolphe Mendy, and this time it's a little bit closer to Bokande, but Busolo gathered well.
The left-back Mendy, he can get down that line at any time, and if they can get enough bodies in the box to get on the end of his cross. I mean, as the ball comes into the box, there's only one white shirt against 4 red ones.
We've had 11 minutes of play. It's Senegal 0, Kenya 0. Here's Mendy again, just getting a little bit of a breather. It's one thing being an adventurous fullback in English football, it's quite another in the high temperatures of African football. This is his brother, strangely enough, number 5, Roger Mendy, looking for Bokande, but War attacked the ball well that time. Wololo. Here's Bokande coming deep in search of possession. That's the area that he left.
Well, it's fairly even at the moment. I mean, they're both filling each other out, the occasional long ball thrown in. And it's worth throwing those long balls in, because if you watch the ball, it checks. Because the grass is so spongy, it's not the type of service that's going to bounce and run out of play or run back to the goalkeeper. It's worth knocking balls, those long balls, in the back of defenders, because he's going to check against the grass and you can catch them. You can get in behind defenders.
Just got a glimpse there at the Senegalese coach, who looks like a Frenchman and is a Frenchman, Claude Leroy. But he's got a very, very good reputation in Africa. He's already had success in this competition with Cameroon. Free kick to Kenya with 12 minutes gone. But no challenge on Sheikh Sek. Free kick overhead. Senegal have had 3 full days to recover. They played their opening game on Sunday. Kenya played on Tuesday. I wonder if that might have an effect in the later stages, Dom.
It could do, yeah, but we do know the reputation of the Kenyans for being so fit. It will be interesting to see as we get through the game.
Luanga. Number 4 is Odiambo. We showed that burst of pace before, and he's showing it again, and this time taking men on, and he did have Okot in support then. Although he was good on the ball, he wasn't very aware of what was happening around him. Here's Bukande.
You see, Clive, he made a good run through there, but you see, the art of running with the ball is knowing when to part with it. You know, and you get a lot of these players, they keep running with it, and they overdo it, and they run it into trouble, and they lose the ball.
Away by Ward. 13 is Koya. 12 is Weche, the captain. 10 here is Mwanga. Kenya looked quite comfortable in possession in the easy areas of the field in their last match against Nigeria. It's when they get into the final third that they didn't quite have the penetration about their play, although here's Okot showing some penetration and really brave goalkeeping there by Zek. Took on one of the strongest centre forwards in the tournament in the air and beat him.
Well, again, we've seen 2 headers from the goalkeeper because they've got outside their box, and I wouldn't think it's a thing they've practiced, but it is brave, like you said. I mean, he really had to go for that ball, because if he'd have missed out, or the Kenyan centre forward had got there first, it'd have been over his head into the net.
He was second favourite, really, too, wasn't
he?
Yes,
he was. He really made that ball.
This is Diagne for Senegal, who just had a little alarm call there. Not such a good ball from Four, the fullback. But Kenya clearly have a spearhead here, capable of causing any problems. Okot with its strength, and Odiambo with its pace. Although it's the Kenyan defence that's troubled for the moment, and almost an opportunity for Hume, but I think he was just caught offside. Quarter of an hour played. Senegal 0, Kenya 0. And the longer it goes on, the more anxious the home fans will become.
That's a clever little chip, that. He just went a little bit too early on his run and got offside. But the chip was perfect.
Home advantage is a great thing for a host nation in an international tournament, as long as you've got your fans with you. As soon as they start to turn against you, then you'd rather be 1,000 miles away. At the moment, the Senegalese public are still with their team. Weche hung in towards Okot again. Oh, nice skill, that's a shame. Koya it was, who was hacked down.
Yeah, he's gone sliding near the defender, and he's took his legs again. He's sidestepped him. Number 13, Kenyan 13, he sidestepped his man easily.
Number 13, Lukoya, on Lukoya for some.
Actually, the Kenyans, when they get forward, the front players are very clever running with the ball. They are prepared to attack defenders on runs, on dribbles.
Not since 1984 of the Nations Cup hosts dropped out before the knockout stage. The last time the finals were staged here in West Africa, in the Ivory Coast. Algeria won on home soil 2 years ago. And the hosts do traditionally well in all the major international tournaments. 8 times in the 17 finals of the African Nations Cup. The team that staged the event has held on to the cup. Senegal hoping to follow that trend, but so far showing precious few signs of doing. Nigeria have looked very much the team in this group. Their place in the quarterfinals already assured. The other remaining qualifying place up for the winner of this match. Senegal 0, Kenya 0, 17 minutes gone. This is Hume, Bukande, Mendy. A clearance, a rather rash and anxious one by Weche. His goalkeeper was available to collect that as Sene came in. And Kenya have conceded a rather unnecessary corner. And Busolo, the goalkeeper, just asking for a little bit more calm in front of him. It's
these dead ball situations that can get the breakthrough.
Sene will take the corner. It's in towards Bukande. It was a punch under pressure by Busolo, and it just about got the job done, just about. Still a chance, though, for Senegal. But a fine challenge by Ochola. But Okoth won't reach that one. Turned by Diallo. All the way back to his goalkeeper, Sheikh Sek. Forward again comes Adolf Mendy, the left back. That's about the first time we've seen him give the ball away. With that educated left foot of his. Lukoya, who looks as skillful as anybody on the field, the Kenyan 13. This is Samguti, their left back. Okoth. Lukoya again. Just took on a little bit too much then. See Senegal have a player down in the centre of the field. It's Diallo. I think they're happy enough to see the ball go out of play. In fact, it's Malik Fall, the right back, who plays in the French second division for Angers, and he was injured a minute or so ago. There he is, 21. Ouch.
Well, like I said, Clive, I mean, both sides are prepared to put their foot in when it's their turn, and they're not terrific tacklers. I mean, they're both sliding in hard, and there's a lot of contact there.
You experienced this with Cameroon during the finals, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're very brave, and they're hard.
There was certainly a smile on the face of African football during Italia 90, thanks to Cameroon. But they did pick up their fair share of yellow and red cards on their way to winning everybody's hearts, a fact which is sometimes forgotten. They're not so new to the game at international level. They haven't learned the art of stopping as well as creating.
I've got to say this, I don't think the referee is looking at a lot of these tackles. And I don't know whether he's missing them or what, but he doesn't seem to be in control. I mean, there's been about, what, half a dozen now hard tackles in this game. And some of them have missed the mark and they've clouted the opponent's player, and he hasn't dealt with it, the referee.
Happily, we haven't seen too many players making the most of the tackles that have been coming in. Most of the victims have lay still or got to their feet as quickly as possible. We haven't seen any of the histrionics, which sometimes rather mar the international scene. Ochola with the throw-in for Kenya. It's kept in by Mendy for Sene. Adolf Mendy again. Was a disappointing one. Neither side particularly quick to commit midfield players in support of their two attackers. It's a very ambitious attempt by Diagne. And he's won a corner from it. His adventure partly rewarded.
They do tend to do that. They do tend to play it up to kind of isolated forwards who have to work it out all themselves. You know, they don't get quick support into to the ball knocked in. You know, the midfield players are not travelling as the ball's travelling to get support for the front player.
Sene with a corner. In came Diallo, but Busoto's handling, as well as his heading, has been pretty sound so far. Two useful African goalkeepers around, actually, in the
Yes, there are.
scene.
Yes, they do produce good goalkeepers, and Basualo did well there. I mean, he came out in amongst defenders and attackers and took it cleanly.
Weche. Here's a run from midfield, in fact from fullback by Samguti. Oh, and he's ridden his luck there, and he's got a chance, a better chance than he maybe realised. And it was a fullback's finish. It was a fullback's spirit and determination to win the chance, but then he snatched it a little bit.
Well, he got the chance in the end. The two defenders got in each other's way, really, and got out of the way, and he went to Sangati. He's got his shot in. He ought to have hit the target.
First real chance that we've had, falling to the Kenyan left back, George Sanguti. Senegal living dangerously, in possession with Cease. Run from full-back by Fall. Checked by Wechi, and a goal kick it will be to Kenya. I'd like to have seen Stuart Pearce get in that position. I think they'd have been mending the net right now.
Here we go again, you see, and he goes in between the two Senegalese defenders. One leaves it for the other one. There's a little rebound off the turf. He takes a quick slap at it, really. He ought to just realised he got a little bit more time, get his shape better.
You need a touch to control it on this surface.
I'm afraid
too,
so, yeah. It's not easy.
This is Lukoya. Biambo looking for space behind the defenders, but this time Roger Mendy is in control. Mendy, as experienced as anybody on the field, the man in possession here was one of the two Senegalese defenders who themselves in a bit of a tizzy then. This is his brother Adolphe. Bokande. Here's Samguti back in his more normal station at left back. A little bit of space for Luanga. And here goes Okote. Really strong and powerful. Well marshalled that time though by Roger Mendy. And that's a little bit more like it from the Senegalese central defender.
He made a lovely run there, Okote, the Kenyan centre forward, and got on the end of it and couldn't handle it. And the defender did well, he read him well, took the ball away from him and slipped it back to his goalkeeper. But I like the run of the centre forward, Okote.
Got a bit of Brian Dean about him, hasn't he? He's got
yes,
the same sort of build, and he's got a lot more than just aerial ability.
Yes, he looks about 6'4", 6'5".
Bokande has been very well dealt with so far. That time Awar fouled him. But Bokande here, who plays his club football in France with Lens, has been very, very closely marked. Hasn't really made an impact on the game as yet. But the competitive nature of the game certainly taking its toll, and it's another injury just above the boot, and that's where a lot of the tackles are coming in.
Without a doubt, they get their foot in. I mean, whoever the coaches are, I mean, there's one an Austrian coach, the other one's a French coach, but they've taught them to get their feet in.
It's not Bokande who's in trouble, actually. The player going down there, it's another Senegalese player who's being treated. As Okote, the big centre forward I was comparing to Sheffield United's Brian Dean, and there's a very, very colourful scene that there is all around the Friendship Stadium here in Dakar. Great feeling for the game in this part of West Africa, and it would be a great shame if those supporters lost the host nation at this stage. But with 26 minutes of the first half gone, a game they really need to win, it's still goalless with Kenya, and Kenya have had the clearer side of goals so far. But here's a free kick to Senegal. Possibilities here. The goalkeeper wasn't quite so sure under pressure from Roger Mendy.
No, he didn't do well there. I mean, he was reaching for the ball and he kind of tried a semi-punch. And I don't think he made good contact, if he made contact at all.
Well, a corner's been given. Bokande being watched by Samia Molo on the near post. There is John Busolo, the goalkeeper. Hume it is who takes the corner. Oh, and that time it was turned off the line on the post. I think it was Bokande's header. Roger Mendy was in there too. Here come Kenya on the break meanwhile, and another vicious challenge goes unpunished by the referee. And it's once more a break from Senegal, which Ochola tries to deal with.
Well, Clive, that's what those full-backs are there for at corners. That's why they put them on the goal line, so the goalkeeper can get out. He starts to creep out, then goes back to the goalkeeper. The ball comes in fairly low. There's a quick, sharp header. And the full-back is very, very alert here. The goalkeeper comes off his line a little bit, realises he's not going. Man spare on the back post, and the full-back does super. I don't know whether it would have gone in, but it looked as though it was close.
It was Mendy's header, the defender. 28 minutes gone. And a little bit of encouragement for the big Senegalese crowd as Hume comes forward. And that's a useful effort too, screaming just wide of Busolo's right-hand post. And they played a little bit like this against Nigeria in the opening game. Little waves of attacks as the heart took over and the crowd got behind them.
Just well there, he was under a lot of pressure, got it on his left foot and hit a stinging shot, but it was a yard wide of the post.
So Senegal at last showing us what they can do, and showing 60,000 of their fellow countrymen inside the stadium, more importantly. The volume level has been turned up a notch or two as Kenya come forward with Okoth. Played by Luanga. Out of play by the Senegal right back four. Uti here will take the throw in. Discharge to cross it in towards Okoth. Only away as far as Luanga. Good skill from him. Didn't have the support though from Sumbuti that time, who'd retreated. And Fall is able to play back to his goalkeeper Sek. Now you really feel as though Senegal need to seize the moment here. They've just got their opponents on the ropes with a couple of good attacks. Here's Hume again, and a chance for Bokandi. Charged down in the end, although he was given a yard of space to turn and get in his shot. Disappointing final effort from Diagne. But whoever he is, he's Senegalese and he's happy, and no wonder.
Well, obviously, I mean, the home crowd want their team to win. They want them to go through into the final placings. And they are getting more players forward at the moment. And they're getting their crosses in, they're getting their long shots in.
Half an hour gone, 0-0. Neither of these countries has ever won the Nations Cup, but Senegal were semi-finalists last time, losing 2-1 to the hosts and eventual champions, Algeria. Kenya on the break with Ngololo. Roger Mendy doing well under pressure. Diallo bringing it clear. Things just starting to come together for the host nation here. Here's Sene. They survived a goalless draw with Kenya in the first round 2 years ago. They may not survive a draw tonight. They really do need to score and win. Another very strong challenge, this time on Diagne.
I've got to say that one down the line there, at least he did contact the ball first. But having played the ball, he came all the way through.
That's just the sort of treatment he requires, I think, at the moment. that's not what you prescribe for a cartilage, actually.
There's the contact on the ball. Yeah. Oh, yeah. His left foot definitely contacted the ball first. But he meant it when he went in, I'll tell you. He really meant to get in there.
I think what his teammate Bokandi was trying to say to him is, get to your feet. We've got a little bit of something going for us here. We need to keep the pressure on. But I'm sure it was lost on Victor Diagne. None the worse for wear. It's Diagne's cross. Only cleared as far as Cease. Here's Adolphe Mendy. Sene. Hume was allowed to turn there and find Sene again. Another challenge from behind, which got the ball but got the man too. It has to be a very clean challenge to win the ball from that position. Better prescription really is just to stand and jockey the man with his back to goal. This is the outcome. You do tend to concede free kicks in menacing positions, and forward will come Roger Mendy again, who so very nearly scored for Senegal 5 minutes ago. Mendy on the near side, but it's set up this time for a shot. Rather disappointing one from Diagne. In fact, Sene was there who had the final strike, place of Paris Saint-Germain in France.
They're coping well, the Kenyans. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I know they're kind of not fancied in this tournament. I know they haven't got many players abroad, if they've got any abroad. But they're well organised, they're well coached, they know how to play. They've got good little midfield players who can run with the ball and get forward. The thing is, you know, you find with these nations, they copy a lot of continental tactics and they just play this one-up up the middle. But where in Europe they get support to that player quickly, they don't do it here in Africa.
They have just got a couple of players playing professionally in the Gulf area in Oman, but nobody on the European scene. Maybe an untapped source of raw talent, admittedly, but talent nonetheless for one or two European scouts. Kenya. There'll be many here watching intently at the moment the Kenyan goalkeeper Busolo, because his goal is coming under increasing pressure. Crossed in this time by Yu. Way as far as Adolf Mendy. Tackled by Mwololo. Sane. Sene. Hume was making the run. Here's Coat back inside his own half and losing out inside his own half, and it's won back by Sene. And here they come again with Tieno Hume. Launched in towards Bokande, turned away in between he and Sene by the defender Owur. And there's just no route out at the moment for Kenya. They don't really have a get out up the field.
I think that's right tactics by the Senegal side. I mean, they are pushing men forward now and they're virtually looking to win the ball back inside the Kenyan half, because the Kenyans do build up short. You know, they want to take about 5 or 6 passes just to get to the halfway line. So under those circumstances, the more players you put forward, the more pressure you can put on those short passes, you'll get the ball back in their half.
10 minutes of the first half remaining, 0-0. It's a rather strange tactical approach from the Kenyans, because we've already seen they have both pace and strength up front. And you think a few long balls into the corners just to relieve the pressure and to give Okot here and his right-hand man Odiambo something to chase might have a dual purpose for Kenya. But as you said, Don, they are intent on playing it close and short. Old habits, I guess.
They have got the confidence to do it, but I still think they wouldn't do it if the Senegal side push forward.
Well, here they are coming forward again with Sane, but the player's been pulled back. I think Senegal might have preferred an advantage to be employed there, having got in behind the Kenyan defence, which will now regroup.
When he got into a crossing position, the linesman made an early decision. Too early, really.
More and more we're seeing John Busolo, the Kenyan goalkeeper, in our shot. Sign of the increasing pressure on him, and he's come a long way to try and make that, and Mendy's got a touch on, and it's turned off the line and almost back in by his own defender. It was bravely away by Mickey Wetchi, the number 12 in the first place, but then Busolo, in his anxiety to get back, almost ran the ball over his own line, but well, he committed himself, the keeper.
He's come out for the cross and he doesn't really get there. It's headed over him and he has the sense to get back as quick as he can, and it's a terrific recovery because he was going into the net, but it wasn't a goal. It didn't go over the goal line.
Samuel Cholo was the man who was trying to help it. Some help.
I mean, he just got his gloves on it in time, just dragged it back on the edge of the line.
It'd be fair to say that Senegal are getting ever closer. 8 minutes remaining in this first half. It's a half that I think Kenny would like to end right now, and a chance just to towel down and regroup, although Big Okot here might have other ideas. He's got support from Odiambo. Roger Mendy back to his keeper. Apologies for a slight interference to your pictures from Dakar. It's a long, long way to the west coast of Africa, but good enough to see Senegal's gathering pressure in the closing stage of the first half, which is still goalless. 7 minutes remaining. Malik Fall, the fullback. His shot charged down by Sunguti. Forward they come again, though. Invitation for Hume. He's got Diania in support. On towards Bokandi. Acrobatic goalkeeping by Busolo. One back by Sene. It's all hands to the pumps at the moment. Kenya defending rather desperately, but defending.
They're doing exactly the right thing, the Senegal team. They're all pushed forward. They're all in the Kenyan half. They're getting the ball back virtually as soon as they lose it. They're putting balls in the box. The goalkeeper did well again there. He came out, got a fist to it.
Here's Sene. There's Okot again, the centre forward, back defending. Here they come on the break with Luanga. One back by Diania. Hume. It's Diania. Cease. Senegal trying to be patient, trying to take their time and choose their moment. Hume here getting to the dead ball line again, and good defending by Mickey Weche.
Clive, I would say in the last 3 minutes, that last 3-minute spell there, the Senegal team have won the ball back at least 6 times inside the Kenyan half. They're really putting pressure on them.
It towards Bokandi this time. He just couldn't quite smuggle it in under pressure from Awar at the near post. But how long can the Kenyan goal survive this kind of exacting pressure? Here goes Hume again. Time and time and time they've got behind the Kenyan defence. Oh, and Bokandi that time in his frustration went with his arm. And he'll be shown a yellow card.
So all they've got to do is just wait their time. Wait to get on the end of one of those crosses. He's just got a bit frustrated. The balls are just a bit too high for him.
Again, Hume got in behind them. Bokandi is a good climber, but was over his head and he used his arm. Hume picked up an injury as he tried to cross the ball.
He's given them a lot of problems down this right side, Hume. He's getting down in behind the fullback. He's virtually getting to the byline. If he keeps doing that and getting those crosses in, it looks as though he's got a bit of a problem with that right knee.
Senegal are so much on top, and with the goalkeeper committed, I think it was Bokandi who managed to head it goalwards, and then in went Sene to try and provide the final touch. Off the line by Weche, and Sumguti was trying to help out his keeper, who almost turned it into the net, but Busolo just managed to beat it to the line. It was a photo finish though. Got 3.5 minutes of the half remaining, but I'm certain there'll be some stoppage time. We've got some fireworks time at the moment. There they come. Must be a very intimidating atmosphere for the Kenyans, who are now being penned in all the time. If they make it to half-time with this 0-0 scoreline intact, then they'll have set up some kind of base camp in the game from which they would hope to go on. But at the moment, they really are hanging on by their fingernails.
Well, definitely the Kenyans, as an attacking force, have virtually disappeared.
Jerry Sara, their coach, must be desperate to hear the half-time whistle. It's been a rather controversial selection. He's overlooked many of the fans' favourites and brought in younger players. Here's Odiambo. One back by Awar, but here they come on the break again. The more Kenya commit to attack, the more likely Senegal are to find a way through on the break. Diania. Forward from full-back again comes Adolphe Mendy, and we've seen what a good crosser of the ball he can be. Sene. Cease. Chance for Bokandi to turn and pick out a supporting player or use it to create space. He did the latter, but he couldn't apply the finishing touch.
He did everything right except his shot on the end of it. Picked up the ball on the edge of the box, went inside the defender, opened the goal out for himself. Never really got a good contact on the ball.
I think he's right-footed, don't you?
I don't know whether it's that grass, Clive. I don't know whether the ball sits up sometimes.
I look like he's swinging it to me. We'll have a good look at him to see.
Does ever so well here to get inside the defender. A nice run in behind the defender, take the other defenders away. Kind of drives it into the ground.
Well, he's driving himself mad. He's getting more and more frustrated, is Jules Bocandé. And this feeling's echoed by everybody in Senegal at the moment. We're actually a minute away from the half-time interval. If it was a boxing match, the referee would be on the verge of stopping it, but haven't been any knockdowns yet. It's 0-0. Kenya taking unnecessary punishment. I think the referee would be in. But they're hanging in.
The thing about this, Clive, is we've seen this happen so many times, and the other team break away and get a goal out of nothing. And the team that's done all the attacking and getting players forward lost the game.
Breaks your heart, doesn't it, when you've got...
Well, the Senegalese have just got to... I mean, they have got to have the patience. I think they're doing the right thing. I think they are pushing people forward and putting the ball back early.
But it's a very tiring game to play without the ball football, and Kenya have been without it for a long time. And here comes Youm forward with another menacing run deep into the Kenyan penalty area. Now, as he won his corner, he's certainly claiming it. Carried the ball superbly there, Tieno Youm.
Yes, he did. He's given them problems all the time. I mean, mainly on the right wing, but this time he picks it up through the middle.
He's already been snapped up by Nantes, France.
He did the right thing there. He ran the ball into the box, inviting a tackle, looking for a penalty.
Here's Odiambo finding a coat, but they're dealing pretty well now with the two Kenyan front men. They're not seeing a great deal of the ball, but when they are, they're not making it stick. It's just coming back at the Kenyan defence over and over again. Here's Diania now. I think that's come off him last and will be a goal kick.
I think what's happened to the Kenyan forward, Okote, he's not making the runs he was making early on now. Whether he is feeling the strain or not, I don't know, Clive, but he was making some super runs early in the game. Now all of a sudden he's holding the middle of the park and he's easily marked.
Senegal haven't really built on their fourth place finish in the tournament 2 years ago. They've gone out of the African Games and the Olympic Games since in qualifying defeats to Mali and Tunisia, neither of whom have made it to these finals. And a year ago, Senegal staged an international tournament here and finished last. In fairness, the two games they lost were both on penalties, but there was public outrage nonetheless. Great support, but great pressure on Senegal to succeed. And that pressure will grow the longer that Kenya can hold out. Holding out is all that's on their mind as we tick into stoppage time at the end of the first half. Corner kick.
Here's another one. I've got a feeling it's a free kick on the left there, Clive. Yeah, well, this is where they've got to catch in, because they've got some big, strong boys, the Senegal lads, and if they can deliver.
Adolphe Mendy trying to deliver from the left-hand side. Cut out, though, by Ochola. Wololo taking a breather. See, Okote just couldn't control the ball there. It ran away from him. Back they come once more, but it's overhit for Bocandé this time. But there's just no outlet for Kenya, no relief. The only relief they're going to get is the half-time whistle eventually. But there have been several stoppages in this first half. Odiambo with a header on that time. The two Mendy brothers dealing with it. Sheikh Sek, the goalkeeper, almost a spectator at the moment. 3 minutes of stoppage time played, end of the first half. Senegal in white 0, Kenya in red 0, and amazingly, That is the half-time scoreline. We did see a little bit of Kenya in the opening stages of the game. A couple of sights of goal, notably for the left-back George Zanguti. But the last 20 minutes have been all Senegal. They've got closer and closer. They've hit the post. They've had one scrambled off the line, but they haven't made the breakthrough. They haven't claimed their place in the quarterfinals yet. We'll be back with the whole of the second half in just a few moments.
Welcome back. Well, the stadium here in Dakar is seething. It's almost like a thunderstorm that's about to break, because Senegal have had all the pressure in this first half, but they haven't found a way through. 0-0 at the break in this vital final match for both nations to see who goes through from Group A alongside Nigeria. Don, alongside us, what would you be telling the team at half-time if you were the Senegalese manager?
Well, I would tell him to carry on what they were doing in the last 10-15 minutes. Push people forward. Crowd the opponent's half.
Kenya opened brightly enough, but it proved fragile. One shot early on from fullback Sunguti as he blazes wide. And after that, as you were saying, it was really one-way traffic.
Well, that chance fell there because two defenders kind of messed it up. You know, an early shout sorted out there.
Now, I think this is the header from Mendy off the line following a Senegalese corner. This was about the half-hour mark when they began to get on top. The closest to a goal scrambled off the line there as Sane closed in, and Bussola recovering just in the nick of time. Vecchia it was, the captain, with the initial interception there, the number 12. Crucial touch.
He's very brave, he's Bussola. I mean, it doesn't matter whether he makes a mess of it or not, he goes the next time.
And then a great shooting opportunity for Bokande, rather scuffing the shot there, and might have shown more composure.
Yeah, and he's getting very frustrated with himself. He's made the space well. Come across and inside, got onto his left foot there. He seems to drive it into the grass. Scuffs it a little bit.
I thought he started the first 20 minutes or so a little too deep, but certainly Senegal finishing strongly, and they'll be disappointed not to have a goal to show for their efforts from the first 45. 5 attempts on goal to just one from Kenya. Yellow card for Bokande. He'll have to be careful. That was rather stupid as well. A needless handball in front of goal as he went for a cross. If he picks up another one in the quarterfinals, should Senegal make it, he may well rue that yellow card, and it would mean his expulsion from a consecutive game. So, coming up for you later on this evening, we'll have extended highlights of the other match that took place today in Dakar. It came in Group B, and it's the favourites, Cameroon, already with a win under their belts from day one against Senegal, and they're playing Zaire. So Morocco, in fact, they beat on day one, not Senegal. And Egypt and Ghana are back in Group D tomorrow, when that one kicks off for you here at 6:30. So back in the Friendship Stadium, and not surprisingly, the home fans will be desperate for Senegal to find a goal in this second half. They are so keen to see Senegal do well, and certainly it would be good for us and the tournament if the host nation are there with us on Sunday when we get underway with the quarterfinals. Well, another one of our interesting look back through the history pages for you archivists, back to Yaoundé in 1972, and this was the Congo winning for the one and only time in their history. It was the first time, incidentally, that Kenya participated in the final stages, but Congo beating Mali after they'd gone a goal down in the first half. And then there was suddenly an explosion of action in the second, 3 goals in the space of 5 minutes, as Congo came from behind to lead Mali by 3-1. 2 from Mbono. I believe he's still an active member of the Congo football scene, and here in Senegal for these championships, supporting the side as part of the Congo Federation. Not hard to see who they're supporting back in 72. Exuberance from our African friends in the Congo as the bench shows their delight, and the final whistle saw Congo beating Mali by 3-2, and a good result that too for Congo. because they put out host nation Cameroon in the semi-finals. So can Senegal emulate Congo and lift the trophy here in 1992? 20 years on, they've never won the African Nations Cup. This the 18th time this tournament's been held. Here at half-time, it's Senegal 0, Kenya 0. Let's show you some goal action from yesterday. Zambia and Ghana. Ghana, our first look at them. They're in the yellow shirts here, and watch out for this piece of explosive finishing from the Ghanaian number 10. It's Abedi Pele, the African Footballer of the Year, with a superb strike through the middle that finally saw off the plucky Zambians. That goal coming on 63 minutes, enough for Gambia to take the points. Chabala crestfallen as he's beaten, and I don't think many keepers in international football, Don, would have got a hand on that shot. In fact, he got a hand on it, but couldn't.
It's a great goal. I mean, it's a lovely 1-2. Again, he makes a bit of space for himself, goes in his left foot and really hammers it. The goalkeeper got a hand to it, but couldn't stop it.
Explosive finishing from just inside the 18-yard line then from the man who plays at Olympique Marseille. Abedi Pele is going to be perhaps the major star of Senegal 92. And look at that for an overhead kick. What a spectacular second that would have been. The crowd, I can tell you, in Ziguinchor were electrified as that one flashed inches wide of the angle. Abedi Pele from Ghana wears the legendary number 10 shirt, and also bears the name of the great Brazilian as well. With finishing like that, who knows? He has every right to be called the African Pele. Well, we've mentioned before this difficult playing surface in Ziguinchor, never mind the bouncy ball and the tricky conditions. Pele now well into his stride, Don, just showing us what he can do.
Yeah, he's so accomplished. I mean, he's obviously playing in France at the level he plays. When he comes into this football, he's very confident. And here he screens the ball, he holds onto it, he knows he's got hold of the ball, invites tackles really, and then slides away, off he goes, leaves them all for dead, slides a nice through ball through.
Ghanaians man of the match and their captain, and sure to make a big impact on this, the first major soccer tournament of 1992. We're delighted to be bringing you these pictures live from Senegal. Hope very much you're enjoying it as we get towards the end of week one. Yesterday's game between the Ivory Coast and Congo failed to provide a goal. It wasn't for the want of trying, however. Ivory Coast in the orange shirts, Yaoundé with one off the line, and then at the other end, a cross off the crossbar, and Ivory Coast with the last word, also striking woodwork in the last 20 minutes. However, it finished Ivory Coast 0, Congo 0. Congo's first match, good result for them incidentally. Ivory Coast had already beaten Algeria by 3-0 in their first game. So Algeria and Congo can still both qualify from that group, but looking good for Ivory Coast. It's tight. Remember, there are 12 nations divided into 4 groups, and just 2 will qualify from each group for the latter stages. Here in Dakar, will it be Senegal, will it be Kenya? We'll find out when you rejoin us for full second half commentary after the break.
It's now or never for the host nation Senegal at the 18th African Nations Cup. They must beat Kenya in this final match in Group A to be certain of qualifying for the quarterfinals at the weekend. If the scores remain tied at the end of 90 minutes, then the drawing of lots will decide who joins Nigeria from this group in the last 8. The Congolese referee, Omar Yengo, who has shown 2 yellow cards, only one of them for a foul in what's been a very competitive first half, but a half which swung more and more the way of Senegal. Huge representation of overseas media here in Senegal this week. Over 500 foreign pressmen attending these championships. Another indication of Africa's growing status in the world game. But Senegal in white, who had the last 25 minutes of the first half to themselves without making a breakthrough, must try and pick up where they left off and score the goal, and there it is! Within 15 seconds of the restart, Souleymane Sané brings joy to Senegal.
Well, if you're going to get a goal, that's the time to get it, virtually in the first minute of the second half. Just a simple build-up down the left side, knocked the ball in down the middle, and Bokandi just flicked it on, nicely on the end of it, and he did well to get his volley in, actually. He had to get it round the defender and touch it in the corner. There's the ball going in. Off goes the runner, flicked on, knocked down. Watch how he gets his foot round the defender to get a volley in.
Sané gets the goal from Bokandi's flick on, but really it's the Kenyan defender Omolo who was caught sleeping. His half-time hadn't come to an end, but Sané was wide awake, and the whole of Senegal now is awake to the sound of the national stadium, celebrating the goal which may just take them into the quarter-finals. Souleymane Sané, who plays his club football in the Bundesliga for Vattenscheid in Bochum. They've been struggling a little bit this season after Sané had figured prominently in their promotion season last season. But if his spirits needed lifting, if Senegal's spirits needed lifting, then that's the goal, 15 seconds after the restart, that will do it for them. Now, have Kenya got a reply? There was precious little evidence of it in the closing stage of the first period, but they've got to go for it now if they're to prevent the Lions of Senegal reaching the quarter-finals.
Yes, that's what they've got to do, the Kenyans. They've got to put pressure on at the other end, because they'll want to protect that lead.
Okoth trying to get to the ball. Not convincingly dealt with by either Mende or Fall. It's Okoth again. Now Lukoya. Ochola trying to turn it on, but it's Senegal on the break. Strong run by Mendy. Reclaimed by Diagne. Really, you feel Kenya are there for the taking now if Senegal can come up with a second goal. Diagne, and a good challenge coming in from Omolo, who may have been at fault for the goal, but atoned partially with a tremendous challenge there. But a deafening atmosphere now in Dakar.
Oh, it's definitely set the stadium alight. I mean, all the fans there now. They're all happy with life. Their team are ahead.
But what a time to score, just 15 seconds after the restart, and the poor defender just hadn't come out for the second half, had he not?
Well, that's right, they were just lacking in concentration, because it does look as though he's got a chance again to that ball. The defender hesitated, and he had the sense to volley around the defender and get his foot to the ball and tuck it into the corner of the net. Did well there, Sané.
He's put a smile of sorts on her face. He's put some beaming smiles on their faces.
Oh, the place is alive.
And this is the passion for football on the African continent at the moment.
It's amazing what a goal does for football.
By Ochola, which caused the problems. He came off worst. More problems for Kenya, as if they didn't have enough all of a sudden. But this is all about chasing a lost cause. Sané had no right to get to it, but he believed he might. He never gave up, and he got there.
Dead right, Clive. He never gave up, and he went after the ball, and while the two defenders were hesitating, he put his foot in.
Sweet strike too.
That's a Gary Lineker type of goal.
Sniffer's goal.
Yeah, that's right. While everybody's looking at the bounce of the ball, he's onto it, got a foot to it, it's in the net.
Here they come again, and there's another chance here maybe for Bakande, turned away by Awar. Free kick has been given. Kenya must feel as if the world is closing in on them at the moment. They haven't got a friend in the Stadium of Friendship. And they're just going to have to try and settle it down for 5 minutes. They won't settle the crowd, they might just settle themselves. It's the best they can hope for at the moment. It'll help if Fall keeps giving the ball away like that. Mulolo losing out, here comes Mendy. Throw into Senegal. Everything to Senegal at the moment. Bokande's got goal side for a moment of a war, who just managed to poke it out of his path and settle for a corner. But with 6 minutes of the second half gone, Senegal lead by a goal to nil and are looking odds-on favourites to add to their lead. Everything's happening around John Busolo, the Kenyan goalkeeper. It's Adolphe Mendy with a cross, and Busolo went down very well there and held on particularly well.
He's got a terrific attitude, that goalkeeper. I mean, he's come out a couple of times and made a mess of it, and yet he still wants to get out. He's still looking to get out and get his hands on the ball.
He's getting plenty of practice at the moment. Okoth, though, brought down by Diallo.
Say this to the referee, he's been very patient with the players, because there's been some real hard tackling going in there, and he's hardly showed a yellow card for that type of thing.
Wiche will take the free kick. Well dealt with by Roger Mendy. Frenchman Claude Loire, now full of hope for his Senegalese team. Said that he'd got together an ageing squad, that this would be their last chance, certainly their best chance on home territory. And at last, they look capable of taking it.
He's telling them to watch this long throw. Obviously, he's done his own work.
Tobias Uchola.
What a runner, Burr, what a runner.
From the pavilion end. That is a long throw too, isn't it? Almost too long, really.
It's a great throw. The only thing about that, if you play in England, you never get that run-up for a throw. You'd be in the crowd.
Here's Tieno Hume on the break for Senegal. And they're almost getting too excited now. They're almost getting the ball forward too quickly. Trying to cash in on the feeling of optimism that's sweeping the stadium. Since that goal 15 seconds into the second half by Souleymane Sané. Throw it to Kenya, who have their substitute Simon Ndungu on the field. Plays for the splendidly named Kisumu Post Office team in Kenya. There's the man he's replaced. That's why he's replaced him. Is the man who's gone off, who's just about the most creative player in the Kenyan side.
Yes, he was. Very clever on the ball, ran with it well. They'll miss him.
They have a free kick though, Kenya. 1-0 Senegal lead, 9 minutes of the second half gone. Flick on by Okoth beyond Odiambo that time. Turned calmly back by Hume to his goalkeeper. My goodness, that's a wound, isn't it?
That looks as though a stud's gone in there.
Or two.
Yes, 1 or 2 studs have gone in deep. I mean, there's a hole there.
There'll be a hole in the Kenyan midfield, which is left. Bokande coming forward. Just couldn't quite gather that in his stride. But the game's really at a crucial stage now, because obviously everything's going for Senegal. But if they just get swept up in the excitement of the moment, if Kenya can just pinch a goal, then just as the sound is rising by the second, so a deadly hush would fall over the stadium and the momentum would be with the visitors. But all the momentum's with the home side in white at the moment. Adolphe Mendy. Just bundled to the ground by Luanga. Play on, says the referee. It's his favourite phrase. We are having one or two problems with the pictures from Dakar. But the news here is that Senegal still lead Kenya by a goal to nil. And that means problems for the Austrian-born coach of Kenya, Jerry Sara. He's actually been in Nairobi for 10 years. He owns a hotel there, so he knows the Kenyan scene very well. But he won't quite know how to cope with this kind of pressure in this kind of atmosphere. East Africa is a sleepy backwater of the continent's game compared to the passion which is welling up on the West African coast this week. Free kick though to Kenya. They're seeing a little bit more of the Senegal half than they were in the closing stage of the first period of the game. Substitute Ndungu caught in possession though. And here's Bokandi trying to set up a break and taken on beautifully by Diagne. Diagne, number 15, and Hume, 13, really do carry the ball very powerfully on an awkward, firm and bumpy surface there, capable of committing defenders. Loire's team in charge. Hume trying to play the 1-2 with Fall, and it's goal kick.
I suppose the coach is thinking, well, obviously he doesn't want his team to sit back, the Senegalese coach, and protect things, because you never know. I mean, one mistake and it's one each. He really ought to be pushing them forward to say, come on, we've got the one goal, make it two, the game's over.
I think whatever ideas the coach may have, he would find it absolutely impossible to communicate them to the players out in the middle at the moment. Such is the din that's being made inside the National Stadium here. Once they cross that white line, there's only so much you can do. Sané, goal scorer. Given away rather disappointingly. Peter Ngololo able to play forward towards Odiambo, but Roger Mendy is there in control. Senegal avoided the qualification process as the hosts. It gave them the chance to prepare at their own pace, but it denied them the competitive edge that the other 11 qualifiers attained in plowing through the preliminaries. They didn't even try to earn a passage to the last World Cup because Loire, the coach, felt it more important to concentrate on the Nations Cup in 1990, and he was only one game and one goal away from leading his team into the final 2 years ago. So they're entitled to high expectations in the host country. Senegal just starting to come up to those expectations. Fall coming forward. In towards Sané, knocked down for Bokande, turned away by Ouar at the second attempt. Kenya again manning the trenches. Adolphe Mendy coming forward from full back. Sané's done well. Just unable to link up with Hume, and Ouar brings it away.
That's what Senegal don't want to do. They're letting them have their own half. Now, like in the first half, they were all pushing forward and not letting them have their half. Now all of a sudden they're retreating.
Still takes them 6 passes to reach the halfway line though, Kenya. Senegal just start the process of running down the clock.
Very dangerous game to play, really. I mean, there's the happy fans, but this is a very dangerous game to play. One little mistake and all of a sudden it's one each. And then it's hard to get back into what you were doing before.
Here's Umar Sene. Here comes Adolf Mende again. I think weariness as much as anything, just taking him off balance and able to direct the cross as he wished. But he's a very willing ally to his attack down that left-hand side.
He was crossing the ball best in the first half. He was getting them up and he was getting them into the back post.
He still has some oxygen in his lungs in the first half. Don't do the substitute has touched him 3 times. I think he's given it away every time. Surely a foul. The referee agrees that that's punishment, and punishment indeed for Tobias Ochola, a yellow card, and an examination by Bukandi, his opponent, who wants to see a certificate of his sanity, I think.
It was a real harsh tackle from behind. I mean, we've talked about the. I mean, they have been putting their feet into tackles, but this one really is in the Achilles tendon, and it would be very sore, this one. He rightly booked it that time, and he's been very patient with him, the referee.
Lions of Senegal roaring out their support for a team which leads by a goal to nil, which has 1 foot in the quarter-finals. Or if all goes to plan tonight, Cameroon will be waiting for them, the favourites for the tournament. But Sané's goal in the opening minute of this second period is what separates the two sides, and Sané almost had his foot separated from his leg there.
His right foot went all the way down the back of his leg. That would really be sore. I mean, we've already seen what studs can do to feet and legs. With the Nigerian that had to go, the Kenyan that had to go off. He virtually got a hole in his foot. So can you imagine that? The back of your leg, down the back of your legs.
Left his autograph there, that's for sure. Here's Sene for Senegal. And now only Bakandi in the penalty area. Sané's getting there. Here is Sané. Calmed down by Mickey Wetchy, the captain. Then there's a prize for best dressed tonight. There's a few candidates. It is a real festival. 60,000 Senegalese packed inside their national stadium, watching their side lead Kenya by a goal to nil. Kenya in possession with Molo. That's forward towards Odiambo with a little bit of space, and he tried to take it on his chest, which would have needed absolutely perfect control to succeed, but it's crossed back in by Umbololo, and there's Okot waiting, and it needed the header from Diallo.
That was a lovely through ball. He did right. I mean, he tried to set himself up on the lovely diagonal ball. He tried to kind of just roll it off his chest into his path to get a shot, and it just went too far for him. But it was a lovely diagonal pass.
Now a threat to Sexco. Ndungu, the substitute, waiting on the far post. It's in towards the near post, towards Songuti. It's a disappointing corner in the end. Youn's got it clear, and here comes Senegal on the break. Bukandi here, herring down the centre of the field, come a long way, just couldn't quite gather it. Cross came Wetche again. There's a bit more purpose about Kenya all of a sudden. They've just lengthened their game ever so slightly. There's just a bit more direction about it.
I think that's because they're not getting the pressure on them deep in their own half, around their box. You know, they're giving them time to get their head up. The Kenyans get their head up, and then they can play it forward.
Sene. Towards Bukandi.
So There's no pressure on the man on the ball now. Now he can take his choice, where in the first half there was. So he can get his head up and he can pick someone out like that and get decent passes forward. Now in the first half, especially in the last 20 minutes, the Senegalese were pushed in, and every Kenyan player that got the ball, there was pressure on him, and he couldn't get his head up to look for his forward pass.
They invariably lost it.
Yes, they did.
This is the best 5 minutes that they've had since the opening 15-20 of the entire game. Odiambo's caught offside. You could hardly call it persistent pressure, but it's a reply of sorts. Throw-in has been given to Senegal. Still having some picture interference from Dakar. Trust it's not spoiling your enjoyment of a really absorbing occasion too much. All the pressure on Senegal tonight, and here they come forward again with Diagne breaking from midfield. He's got Bakandi in support, but he didn't use him. Instead, he brought out an outstanding save from Busolo. Diagne's frustration there for all to see, but Busolo again denied him.
It was a fairly tight angle, but he really whacked that ball. It looked as though he would get inside the far post. The goalkeeper made a good save.
Here they come again with Humes crossing towards Bokandi. Knocked away from in front of Busolo that time. It'll be another Senegal corner. And another Senegal goal now would surely settle it.
Yeah, when they get at the Kenyan defence, they find holes and they get into shooting positions. That's why they shouldn't sit back.
Diallo. 4. He's managed to get away from Luanga. Powerful right back, Malik Fall, but he won't be able to hurdle that challenge. This time it's Mickey Wedgie, the captain, who's in trouble, but he's been sent away with a reprimand. We're at the midpoint in the second half. Fall committing his man with another strong run.
Well, it's another dive in, and he's just virtually threw a leg in at the end of it, and his studs are showing. Really some hard tackling going in this game.
I think hurdling practice will become part of the preparation for these Nations Cup matches. High hurdling. Now, can Senegal make the pressure pay here at the midpoint in this second half? 1-0 they lead. In they go once more, Bokandi! 2-0 they lead! Jules Bokandi doubles the lead and surely takes Senegal into the quarter-finals.
Well, it's a good goal for the Senegalese, but it's a poor goal for the Kenyans. I mean, the ball's come in, and the ball goes between the forward and the defender, and it drops down, and the defenders stop, and then Bokandi gets onto it and just has a free. They're trying to play him offside or something, but obviously the defenders are in the box.
It was Cisa got the header down, and it wasn't what he intended, but that was what Bokandi intended, all right. He didn't actually catch the header, did he, properly?
No. I mean, the header was in between the defender and the forward.
Bokandi celebrates. Senegal celebrates. 2-0 they lead. And it's going to need a superhuman effort from Kenya now to find an escape route from this. Jules Bokandi's celebrations are extravagant, but no wonder.
He's a very emotional lad, Bakandi, and obviously he's got the goal he's wanted all the game.
Somebody just explaining to the cabinet what that goal means. Claude Roy knows all right. It means he's in a job for a few more days.
I know how he feels, Clive. I know exactly how he feels.
Ah, they're brightening up a little bit now in the VIP box.
Oh, I bet the organisers are pleased. It's going to keep that crowd coming for every game.
Go on, give us a smile. Senegal will be tonight, that's for sure. It'll be the coach, Claude Leroy. You'll have a couple of princes in the goal scorers, Sané and Bokande. Sané in the opening minute of the second half, Bokande midway through. 2-0 the home nation lead. And if Cameroon do top that Group B, as they are favourites to do, what a quarter-final we're going to have here on Sunday afternoon. The favourites against the hosts. Now, Senegal got enough self-belief to really go on and win with a flourish. Or are they going to sit back, happy with what they've got? This is 4. Here goes Bakandi. Amwololo. Ndungu. Witching. Oh, coach has had a pretty lonely evening up there on his own. Witching. They're playing in front of Senegal all the time, and it's fairly comfortable to defend against. Whereas on the break, the host nation are far more incisive. This is Award. No way through for Ndungu.
No, I think the confidence is draining from the Kenyans. You know, there's no conviction at all when they've got the ball now. They're giving the ball back without the Senegalese working hard to get it back.
Right, fall again. Roger Mendy just let that slip under his toe for a moment, but Odiambo wasn't alive to the possibility. They look so much more convincing when they go the other way. Sene. You can understand them feeling that a 2-goal lead is enough to protect, but for me the best protection for it would be to go forward and score another 2, and I think the Frenchman is thinking very much the same way.
Already given the time to the players.
17 minutes, it's not as if we're into the death throes of the game.
There's plenty of time to get 2 goals.
This is Award. Molo, the number 90, really will be kicking himself for allowing Sané to get in that early strike at the start of the second half. If Kenya had frustrated Senegal for just 10 minutes at the start of this second period, who knows how the game might have turned.
Yeah, they've definitely gone now. I mean, you can see there's no confidence in the ranks at all.
Candy, the scorer of the second goal here. Turn and War, who just stood in his way, and the referee recognising that has given the indirect free kick to Senegal. Jerry Sara's African Nations Cup appears to be coming to an end. At least his team have managed more than they did in their two previous African Nations Cups, when they didn't even so much as manage a goal.
Football in the opening 20 minutes was neat and nice without it really going forward, and they all looked as though they wanted to show and pass and play and make good position for each other, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared.
But it was never in the script for Kenya to upset Senegal tonight. Really, apart from that opening, they just about followed the script. They maybe suffered a bit from the relative lack of quality in East African football. They were somewhat fortunate to qualify from their group by a single goal, not by a single point. But they're here without the level of competition that the West African and the Arab nations are getting regularly. East Africa really is the, as I was saying a little earlier, the backwater of the continent for the moment.
And obviously, if you've got within your team perhaps, I don't know, 3, 4 players who are playing in Europe, in the standards of European football, in France, in Spain, in Germany, that does help. I mean, players are coming home with a lot of experience.
Because the tournament's been staged here in January, they are almost to a man coming home.
Well, I think African football is improved for 2 reasons, Clive. I think it's improved because, one, there's a lot of foreign coaches in the country, from Germany, from Austria, from France, from all over virtually the European countries. And obviously, the other way it's improved is because there's a lot of the African nation players being kind of imported into those same countries in France, and they're getting a lot of experience, and when they come back into this football, they're good players.
Oumar Sene, the number 8 of Paris Saint-Germain, being replaced by Lamine Sagna, who is one of the home-based players. But clubs like Paris Saint-Germain have been told to release players because it's January and because there are winter breaks in various European nations. They've been able to do that. Bokande, that's a useful ball and a useful chance too for Sané, who felt that he was caught inside the penalty area. Again, went down rather painfully. Moore is able to smuggle it away. I think from corner. Sané looking to his marker. Less than sympathetically. That's Sene, the number 8, has just come off. There are quiet celebrations starting on the bench, very noisy celebrations started some half an hour ago elsewhere in the stadium, the moment that Sané scored the opening goal. Added to by Bokande 23 minutes into this second half. It's got 13 minutes to run. It's Senegal in white 2, Kenya in red 0. Okot dealt with by fall. Roger Mendy. Side lead 2-0. And Kenya have got to try whatever they can now. Whatever they can is number 16, Elijah Karanga, is preparing to come on. I think experience is the most that he's going to get out of the closing stage of this game. It will be quite an experience playing in this atmosphere. Too many 60,000 gates around in British football anymore, are there?
Well, it's the coach's final kind of card to play. It's his second sub, and then that's the end of it.
The game obviously has lost a lot of its edge since Senegal edged 2 goals in front. Senegal happy really for Kenya just to stroke the ball around, in and around the central area of the field. It's 4 in possession. Hume trying to turn it back into his path. He'll have to chase it himself, but he's got there. Dungu trying to get to him, but Hume has got it across. I think the ball had already crossed the line. It certainly has now. Here comes the substitution. Karanga will have 11 minutes in which to make a name for himself, and it's Anthony Luanga who will be replaced. Sometimes the way in these big international tournaments that the teams that start impressively from the first gun fade.
Yes, they do.
And it's very often the nature of things that the champions look back on a rather messy sort of start to a tournament, and certainly Senegal had a messy start to this one.
Yeah, well, what happens is that obviously the coaches, they work hard and they're sending the players out, and perhaps for 20 minutes in a game, and perhaps the first game as well, like they're fired up and their attitude is good. But over a period of 90 minutes or over a period of 2 or 3 games, it can't stay the same, because obviously the onus is on the players to motivate themselves and want to play.
See, the winners will play 5 games in 2 weeks in temperatures up in the 70s and 80s.
Well, that's right, and the coach has only got so many words to say about motivation.
Here's Hume. In towards Bakandi again. Credit to Busolo. 2 goals may have gone past him, but it could have been a lot more but for him. He's not been flawless tonight, but what errors he's made up for, and he was given precious little chance with either goal due to some rather sleepy defending in front of him. Roger Mendy only headed into the path of Victor Diagne. Got support here. It was Sanya, the substitute, who turned it in. It's a very tired-looking Kenya now.
Yes, it is. Having a few words with each other on the pass, the quality of the pass.
Looking for an early night in Dakar. I think we better look elsewhere. The celebrations are going to go on way past midnight.
I think the drums will be out tonight, Clive. They'll all be having a good time. They'll all be thinking about the final.
And of course, after this game, it becomes, certainly for Nigeria, presumably with the Senegal, a real cup competition. Straight knockout from the weekend. Last 8 into the quarterfinals, and it's do or die then. In or out.
All the crowd think, because they've got through this round, oh, we're going to win the cup now. Yeah. It lifts them. But I think we've got a lot of football to go. Very exciting football to come. Because it is sudden death. It is cup time football now. After these opening games.
Again, it's very much in the nature of the major international tournaments for the group stage to be a little bit cagey, and for the competition to really flourish in the second week. We've had some cagey games in Senegal this week. We've had some memorable moments too. Wonderful goal from Pele last night. A marvellous exhibition of finishing from Yekini, the Nigerian, the night before. We've seen glimpses of what Cameroon can offer. We've seen the Ivory Coast open up and score some goals. Here's Bokande for Senegal. Tumbled yet again by War, the number 2.
I think he's making a meal of that one. I mean, that was a collision, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was violent.
Bit of a pin-up boy, isn't he?
He's just caught his shoes, he's gone past him with his left foot.
They'll be on the supermarkets next week. It's a strap run again, isn't it, by you? He's good on the ball. Yondu got it clear.
Well, I would think, obviously, that this tournament is being well covered by agents and club scouts from all over Europe, and you'll find that a lot of these players will be popping up in different parts of Europe in the next 12 months.
Senegalese number 9 is Albouri La, who plays his football in France. He was with Paris Saint-Germain for a while. He's with Châteauroux now. Just developing the point, don't you have a promising young African player on your staff at Coventry City?
Yes, Peter Love. Yeah, he's got a good chance of making the grade. His individual ability it's something to be believed at times. I mean, in training, he does some wonderful things. They do grow up with this. Obviously, they spend their younger life playing with the ball all day, every day. So they do get this fantastic individual ability. What they have to work hard at is the tactical side of it, the team positions.
Still having some problems with the pictures from Dakar, but not quite as many problems as Kenya are having with Senegal. 2-0, the host nation in white lead. And with just over 5 minutes of this match to go, a match which is fading towards an inevitable conclusion. I think we've seen the crucial action without too much interference. Well, Kande's evening is coming to an end. He's the scorer of the second goal. And he'll make way for Albouri La. But Makande will be back. Claude Leroy will see to that. He'll be a key figure for them in that big quarter-final here on Sunday. He's taken a lot of punishment tonight. He is a rather dramatic and occasionally theatrical individual, but he's got ability. And he's the sort of player who can really lift a home crowd too, because he's the sort of player who the fans warm to, and doesn't he just know it?
I think he plays from the heart, Clive. He's very emotional, but obviously he can play. I sometimes wonder, what I've seen him play, whether his emotions will run into his finishing. You know, when you finish in football, when you knock that ball in the net, you've got to have good composure. And you've got to be ice cool as well. I mean, the Gary Linekers of this world.
As his agent now, he's just got a recording contract lined up for him. Yeah, I tell you what, his heart has also picked up for him tonight. He's picked up a yellow card for him,
yes,
which might just count against him before we're through.
Well, that was a silly thing to do, and like you said at the time,
here's an opportunity maybe for Hume, who's peeled away from the defender, but without too much support. He'll have to make do with either a corner or a throw-in, but Hume has been one of the standout figures in the game, that's for sure.
Outstanding game, Clive. Very, very confident on the ball. Hold on to the ball as long as you want him to.
Yeah.
Once he sets out on a run, he has the ability to go past defenders, no problem at all.
Now, come on, you stand up to your reputation. Instead, he lobs it in. There's a chance there. What a chance it was for Albouri La. It might just have been his first touch. In which case, he maybe has an excuse. Sane set him up beautifully. And La, big full swing of his right leg. And it was 2 points for St Helens, that.
Well, he did well, Sane. He backed into the defender and just laid him back into the path of the incoming. The Senegalese, who's run in as the ball's been played in the box. He's just laid him back to him. Should have hit the target.
If he'd been a bit steadier there, the coach would have been able to say what a very good substitution it was. There you go. Like 1 or 2 of the crowd have already filtered away to start the party. Senegal in white leading by 2 goals to 0 with just 2 minutes remaining. A victory that would be good enough to take them into the quarterfinals and send Kenya in red home early. Home to watch the rest of the cup on their television sets. The war just unable to keep the ball in play. Sani with the throw. It's nice at this stage of a tournament to be 2 up with 20-odd minutes to play. Just gives you not 20-odd minutes of rest, but 20-odd minutes without pressure, in the knowledge that you've got another game coming in, well, 3 days' time, and another big game too.
Yes, that's right. You virtually know you're through, and everybody relaxes a little bit, and everybody starts to enjoy it a lot more.
Mendy to Sagna. Clip forward again. Here goes La in search of a goal. The War got to the ball first. He's on the mobile phone. Booking his table for the night. There aren't many tables to be had in Dakar this evening.
I think he's ordering the tickets for the next round. Clive.
Here's La. Hume. It's the ball in 2. Oh, it's not a bad header, is it, for 3? Last minute. And Senegal finish with a flourish.
A very clever header, really, because it's on the back post and the goalkeeper comes to him. and he just virtually lobs the keeper with his header. He just knocks it over the top of the keeper, back inside the far post. It's a very intelligent header, that.
I think it's Diania who scored.
And it's a very skillful thing to do as well, because with your head, you know, you don't have that feel. And he's just nicely put the right pace over the top of the goalkeeper, back inside the far post.
What about ball from our friend Hume? Yeah, just head into the camera, there you go. Diania, the scorer.
I always say it's chipping the goalkeeper with your head.
Now he's been shown a yellow card here, presumably for his celebrations. It's amazing some of the tackles we've had tonight. And we've had one guy booked for handball and another now they're getting too excited in celebrations. But it was a beautiful goal by Diania.
That's a great goal anyway, I tell you. That's a very good goal.
3-0 Senegal. And that's a nice memory for the home fans to take away with them from an evening of celebration here. It's given the scoreline the look of a slaughter, really, and from the first 20 minutes onwards it's been pretty much that. All the party tricks coming out now. Bukande watches on. Minute and a half of stoppage time played. It can't end too soon now for Kenya. The final whistle that ends the match will start the party. The coach still asking for calm, but I think that's a fairly hopeless request.
But obviously he knows them very well. I think he's saying to them, now look, don't get carried away here.
I want you all in bed by 4 a.m.
That's right, yeah. We ain't won anything. We ain't won anything yet. You know, we've just qualified out of this group. That's all we've done.
Doing what he's told, he's trying to look serious.
Yeah, but it's nice, isn't it? I mean, obviously you feel for the Kenyan coach as well, but it's been a good win. And it will, like you said, it'll keep the tournament alive. It's great when the home country stays in till the end of the tournament.
There were 5,000 here on Tuesday night when Senegal were not involved. There were 60,000 here on Sunday and 60,000 again tonight when Senegal are involved. And they're involved in looking for another goal here with Cease and a chance maybe for Hume. Busolo was in the right place. If he'd started that bender just a little bit further to the goalkeeper's left, it would have just drifted beyond him.
I don't think the referee wants it to come to an end either. Right.
They're ready for the stampede. It's a rather interesting version of the goal scorers. Sané, Bukande and Diania are the goal scorers. Didn't quite work out how those names represented theirs, but there you go. At the moment, Big Mike Oakcoat, who's been doing his utmost to keep Kenya involved in the match, at the sharp end of a fairly blunt attack, is receiving some treatment. But that is a marvellous scene. It's a very, very well-appointed stadium, and it's lent that very special African feel. This match couldn't be taking place in any other continent in the world. It's a quite unique atmosphere. It's different from South America, it's different from Milan, it's different from Anfield or Ibrox. It's the same feeling for the game expressed in a very African way. And Oakcoat, you can see, damaged himself in the process of fouling an opponent. I think yellow and red are the national colours, don't you?
Yes, we know which team has been supported the best.
pace here because we've played 5 minutes over the 90 already. They've been singing their hearts out from the very first whistle. It's thirsty work supporting your team in a championship of which you're the hosts. Still we go on. That'll do it. Senegal go through. They'll be in the quarterfinals on Sunday afternoon after all. Kenya for 15 or 20 minutes threatened to spoil the party, but Senegal cut loose in the second half. A goal from Sané inside 15 seconds of the restart was the key to it all. But Kandé added another midway through. Diane, a beautiful header right on the stroke of 90 minutes. Claude Loire's side go through to the quarterfinals. On Sunday, they'll probably meet Cameroon.